Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing today? It's a Sunday morning here today. I'm starting today's live lesson a little bit later. I know it's Sunday. A lot of people wanted to have this a little bit later than my usual early start time. So I'm going to start a little bit later. We're going to do a fun, an easy, a very useful lesson today. I'm going to wait for a little bit of time so we give some people to join. So just bear with me. As always, I'll put the lesson onto the screen and we will do a fun lesson. We're going to be doing an advice lesson, but specifically for health. We're going to be learning a lot of useful vocabulary words today. All right, let me just get things set up here. Let me send a message onto my community site as well. And if you are already here, send me a message, say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching. All right. So we've got a few people joining in right now. I've just put a message onto my community site as well. So we'll get some people in here and we'll start the lesson. Like I said, today we are going to be working on health advice. Now, advice is something we've already done a lesson on this before. I've got videos on it on my channel. So if you want to get a sort of further look at advice, not just for health, but for other things, you can check out my videos online. Today, we're going to be specifically talking about health. I've done a short video talking about health. So check that out as well. Today, we're going to just look at just regular health advice. Mainly, it's going to be a lot of vocabulary. Now, I'm going to put this lesson onto the screen right now so everybody can see it. One second. Here we go. So our lesson is right there. Supergirl, good morning. Good morning. How are you today? It is a early cold morning here in Tokyo. The weather has suddenly become winter-like, I guess. Today, we're going to be giving advice, and we're going to start with health advice. So before we do any type of advice lesson, it's important. How do we give advice? What verbs can we use to give advice? Does anybody know what verbs we have to use? Or what's the most common verb to give advice? If you know what that is, leave your answer in the comment section. All right, so basically, the most common verb we are going to use to give advice will be should. Should. You should. Should is a very, very common way to give advice. All right, so you should. Now, if you look at the screen, we have another word as well. Ought to. Ought to. Now, this is also quite popular. This, I would say, is a little bit more British English. I don't think Americans use this as much. Of course, there are some people who do use it, but it's more commonly used, I would say, in the UK and Australia. I use it. I like this word. And if you notice the pronunciation of ought to, the pronunciation is going to be oughta. Oughta. Okay, so We don't have to say you ought to. We're going to say you oughta. And I would almost say that the T, this TT pronunciation here, it's almost really, really soft. It's almost like a D sound, like oughta. So DD sound, oughta. Right? And this has the same meaning. This has the same meaning as should. All right, so there's no difference in the meaning. It means should. XYZ, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you today? All right, let's look at our first slang vocabulary word of the day. Today's first word is hangover. Hangover. Does anybody know what this means? And I'll show you the example sentence. It says, I drank so much yesterday, and so I'm hungover today. So I've actually got two different forms of the verb here. Hangover, hungover. Kaz, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining. How are you today? Does anybody know what hangover means? So here it says, I drank too much yesterday, so I'm hungover today. YFS, good morning. Good job. XYZ has an answer here. She says, drink too much. Drink too much. Okay, you're very close. You're very close. Drink too much. And when we say drink in this situation, I drank so much yesterday, this means alcohol. It always means alcohol. It doesn't mean water or juice or coffee. It means alcohol. So XYZ says, drink too much and feel awful next day. Yes, that is right. When you drink too much alcohol and the next day you feel very bad. Maybe you have a headache. Maybe you have a stomach ache. Maybe you feel not so good. Maybe your stomach feels a little bit queasy. Queasy. Then we would say you have a hangover. A hangover. Very good, XYZ. Now, we've got two words here, hangover and hungover. Hangover and hungover. The meaning is the same, but they are a little bit different. Okay, hangover. Hangover here, I'm going to put it right next to it. Hangover is a noun. Okay, hungover. Hungover is an adjective. Okay, hungover is an adjective. Hangover is a noun. Okay, so I'm going to put it down here so we have more space. Now, generally, if we're using hangover, this is a noun, I'm going to be using the verb have. Have a hangover. And remember, whenever we do any work, whenever you make any sentence with an adjective, if you're making any sentence with an adjective, we're going to be using the be verb. Please remember that. Adjective, we always need the be verb. Okay, so let's put that right here because we're using, and I'm going to put it in here as well, just so everybody remembers. Adjective, we always use a be verb. So if you're talking about yourself, you would say, I am hungover. I am hungover. The meaning is the same. The meaning is the same, but how we make the sentences are different. So please be careful with that. And remember, every time you use an adjective, please use be verb. You know, it is cold. I am hot. It was beautiful. Okay, very good. So let's look at vocabulary now. Let's look at some more vocabulary. We're talking about sickness. So if you look at the next box here, I've got sickness vocabulary. Now, I've given you some vocabulary words so far. I've given you here cold. I've given you fever, headache. Oh, that got small there. 1 second. So I've given you headache, and you've got stomach ache. Do you know any other vocabulary words that we can use to talk about sickness? Now, let's start with what we have. Let's start with this word here, ache. Ache. We've got headache. That means my head doesn't feel good. We've got stomach ache. That means I have pain in my stomach. Do you know any other vocabulary words that end with ache? And just as I say that, I notice that this is spelled wrong. Stomach ache. That is the correct spelling here. Not this one. Okay, who knows some vocabulary words that we usually use ache with? Headache, stomach ache. If you know any ache vocabulary words, words that end in ache, please put it into the comment section. If you're watching during the replay, then you can just yell out to your computer or to your smartphone or your tablet. JL, good morning. Good morning to you. How are you today? How are you today? I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a good morning. So we're looking at vocabulary words, any type of sickness vocabulary. Now we're going to start easy. I think the easiest words are words that end with ache. We've got headache. We've got stomach ache. You can do this one. What is this one? This is an earache. I'll put the vocabulary words up here for you. All right, we've got earache. Does anybody know any other words? We've got joint ache from XYZ, joint ache. That's a good guess. Very good guess. It's not commonly used. We don't really say joint ache. We do talk about joint pain, but we don't usually say I have joint ache. All right, so this one here, joints, we're going to be using a different verb, and I'll get to that in a bit, but joint ache is not a vocabulary word. Nice try, XYZ. Nice try. All right, now another common one we would say is backache. Backache. No problem. That's great. I'm glad you're happy, XYZ. It's always good to try, even if you make a mistake. You know, trying is how we learn. Backache is very common. All right, backache. YFS with an answer here. Toothache. Very good. Toothache is another common one. Toothache is another common one. Excellent. Now, if you notice YFS with her spelling, it's toothache, not teeth ache. We don't use the plural form for tooth. We're just using the singular form. So we say toothache. I think these are probably the most common. Headache, we've got stomach ache, we've got earache, we've got backache, and toothache. All right, those are probably the most common for ache. Now, one thing I want everybody to notice here. Now, all of the vocabulary words that you see right now, we've got cold, fever, headache, stomachache, earache, backache, toothache. These are all nouns. They are all nouns. Okay, so does everybody know what a noun is? Okay, so I will say some grammar vocabulary words often in my lesson. And one that I always say is a noun. I've already said it once before. And these on the screen right now, they're all nouns. A noun is any people, place, or thing. Okay, a noun is people, place, or thing. Now, these are all nouns talking about some type of sickness, some illness. Now, if you have a noun in this situation, all of these vocabulary words are going to use the same verb. They're going to use the same verb. I'm going to change the color so it's easier for you guys to see this. We're going to be using have verb. Have verb. All right, so we would say, I have a cold. I have a fever. I have a headache. I have a stomach ache. Whenever you're using any of these vocabulary words, please use the verb have. All right, so for any noun, we're going to be using have. And we're going to get to joint pain later, XY, XYZ. We're going to get to joint pain later because that will use a different verb. So now let's break things down into just talking about a cold. Okay, we're only going to be talking about a cold now. When you have a cold, we have many different symptoms. For example, what is a symptom? A symptom is any feeling you have when you have a cold. YFS has a question regarding noun. Do we always add a? For these ones, yes, I have a cold, I have a fever, I have a headache, I have a stomachache. These are all countable nouns. So it means just one. So yes, I have a fever. Do not forget the a. We always use the a. Good question, YFS. Good question. Okay, so we have I have a in these vocabulary words. And let's add one more. One that we all kind of know. Recently, we've all been, in the last 4 years, we've all been dealing with this. Okay, you can say, I have COVID-19. Now, this one is going to be special. This one is special. I'm going to put a star there. Why is this one special? Because we are not going to be using a with this one. Okay, we don't say I have a COVID-19. This one is just I have COVID-19. And I know some of you might be thinking, oh, well, why? Well, this is so confusing. Why? Okay. COVID-19 is the name of the sickness. Basically, COVID-19 is just a very, very, very dangerous type of cold, right? COVID-19 is the name. Whenever we have a name, it doesn't have to be about sicknesses. It can be about anything. If we're using a name, we never use the word "a." And look at that, XYZ, great. Is it because of the specific name? You are most correct. Whenever you use the name, then we will never, never use the word "a." No, XYZ, great, great. I'm glad you knew that. And that's not only for sicknesses, remember, it's anything. All right, now let's go to just a cold. We're only going to be looking at a cold, and I want everybody to tell me, what are some symptoms of a cold? What are some symptoms of a cold? All right, symptoms. Does anybody know what symptoms means? If you know what that means, please leave it down in the comment section. What is a symptom? You probably often hear this word a lot, symptoms. If you know what it means, symptom, please leave it into the comment section. It's a common word we use with health, with sicknesses. It's a medical vocabulary word. All right, so it's quite difficult. I think it's quite difficult to explain as well. Symptom. Symptom is basically any sign that you have a sickness. Any sign that you have a sickness. Any symbol, any evidence that you have a sickness. So even the explanation is difficult. But let's just give some examples. Now, I want you to imagine if you have a cold, what are some ways that you feel? How do you feel? What is wrong with you when you have a cold? You know, maybe you have a fever. That could be here. Maybe you have a fever when you have a cold. Maybe you have an issue with your throat. Maybe you're maybe you're doing that. These are all signs. These are all symptoms of a cold. How do we say this in English? Who knows the vocabulary word for that? JL, cough, perfect. So cough is a symptom. Cough is a symptom of a cold. Excellent, JL. What about if this area is very painful? If this area is very painful, what do we say that? What's the symptom for that? I'm going to put JL's answer right up here. Cough. Nice. All right, so this whole area is very painful. So maybe you have to take some lozenges, some type of Halls candies. Maybe you have to eat some honey. Supergirl, sore throat. Very good. You know, when you have a sore throat, that is a symptom of a cold. sore throat. Excellent. So these are all symptoms. Okay, so whenever you're feeling sick, whenever you have a cold, then you have some different feelings. These are all called symptoms. So let's go over some more symptoms. When you have a cold, you'll have a cough, a sore throat. What about, I see it a lot, when you have a cold, you are constantly getting some tissue and you're wiping here. Dizzy, very good, very good. I like that one, dizzy. Some people, when they have a cold, they're dizzy. Excellent. I'm going to write that here. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so I can fit everything in. And can you guys still see that? Is the size okay, everyone? Can you still see it? Maybe we'll make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I hope everyone can see it. If you can't, I'll zoom in a little bit later as well. I'm going to put your word, JL, I'm going to put your word on the right side over here. And I'm actually going to put it in a different color. I'm going to put it in a different color. And I'll tell you why I'm putting it in the different color in a little bit. Let's put it in something that's easy to see. Let's put it in this blue right over here. I've already got blue. That's not good. That's not smart. Orange. We're going to put it in orange. All right. So I'm putting it in a different color. I'll tell you why in a little bit. Okay. So the size is okay. Thank you, YFS. All right. More symptoms. What are some more symptoms? These are all really good vocabulary words. Cough, sore throat. I have to keep wiping my nose. What does that mean when you have to keep wiping your nose? There is liquid coming down. All right, very good. Supergirl has an answer here. You're almost there. And I'm glad. I'm so happy you wrote it like this. So Supergirl has running nose. When I am going over XOZ, also running nose. I like it. You guys are almost there. That's like 99% correct. 99% correct. I often hear people saying running nose. So that means like your nose is running. You're almost there. You just have to change how we say it. And I'm going to put my answer back in blue this time as well. And again, I'll tell you why I'm putting different words in different colors. It's runny nose. RUNNY. All right, runny nose. It's not running, runny. XYZ, you already corrected yourself. Runny nose. Perfect. Perfect. So there's no ing. Maybe your phone or your tablet was auto-correcting. Okay, so we don't say running, it's runny. Anytime there's a lot of liquid, we're going to use the word runny. Runny. Now, this is not vocabulary for sickness, but I'm going to give you another example of how we use runny. One of my favorite types of eggs, when I'm eating eggs, I love like sunny side up eggs. I like when the yolk, the yellow part, is very liquidy. We call those runny eggs. Runny eggs. That means the yolk is very soft. Okay, so runny nose. So let's go over why. Why am I putting some vocabulary in blue and I put JL's answer in orange on the right side? That's because they're different types of words. Any any word that is in blue, any word that's on that left side of the screen, okay, any one of these, all of these words, they are nouns. They're nouns. That means I must use the verb have. So for all of these vocabulary words, please use have. I have a cold. I have a fever. I have an earache. I have a sore throat. I have a runny nose. Now, we've got one word on this right side, dizzy. This is a great answer by JL. JL, this word here is an adjective. It's an adjective. So whenever we're using an adjective, we are generally going to be using the be verb, right? So these are all adjectives. And let me put that onto the screen as well. So be plus the adjective. So we are separating them. We're separating them. So dizzy is an adjective. And all of the blue words are nouns. So if I put a sentence, let's choose my verb over here. Please use be. So I am dizzy. I have a cough. I am dizzy. And JL, you had a question here. May I ask, could we use got to replace have? Are they the same meaning? You are completely correct, JL. In spoken English, especially in America and in Canada, we will often say got. Okay. Now it's almost close to have. That's the standard verb we use. But if you wanted, you could say have got. Have got. Not just got, but I have got. So if I make a sentence that says, I have a cough, the same sentence, I've got a cough. These two sentences have the same meaning. They have the same meaning. This is a great question. Let me scroll up. I don't think you can see that. There you go. These two sentences have the same meaning. I have a cough. I've got a cough. Now, when you are in America, when you are in Canada, a lot of native speakers, it sounds like they don't say I've. Maybe they'll just say I got a cough. So if you say this, grammatically, if you're doing a grammar test, it's incorrect. But in spoken English, it's okay. Some people don't say the V part here, or the have part, sorry. Some people, get rid of this and they just say, I got a cough, which for spoken English, it's fine. But that is a good comment, good question, JL. I actually did a video on that. On my channel, so you can check that out. But perfect. Yeah, you can use got instead. I would recommend I've got. Now, again, this is not about health, but I just want to give you one more sort of tip. Have to. This means kind of must, talking about responsibility. Again, we can say, I have got to. Same meaning. All right, so if I said, I have to go to the doctor, I could say, I've got to go to the doctor. Same meaning. I've got to go to the doctor. And then again, we're sort of going off tangent here. Whenever you use got to, I want you to change your pronunciation to gotta. So I've got to go to the doctor. My pronunciation would be I've got to go to the doctor. I've got to go. I've got to go to the doctor. It's important that you practice pronunciation like this because that's how native English speakers speak. We speak where we join words together. We link words together. So if you practice speaking like that, your listening becomes much better. Please do not write it like this. This writing is bad. It's incorrect. Please write it correctly, but speak it like this. All right. Good question, JL. Good question. So let's go back here. We've separated the vocabulary. We've got left side. We've got nouns. Right side. We've got dizzy. Let's look at this last word, runny nose. Runny nose. What's the opposite of a runny nose? Runny nose is when there's a lot of liquid coming out of your nose. What if everything is inside? I can't breathe. Like me right now, it's difficult for me to breathe in my nose. What's the vocabulary word for that? You cannot breathe in your nose. When the liquid is coming out, it's runny nose. So this is kind of the opposite vocabulary word. What's the opposite of a runny nose? Supergirl says stuffed nose. Yes, very good, Supergirl. Very, very good. All right, and I'm going to change it a little bit. So let's just make sure we've got the correct color. If you notice, well, I don't want to put that into blue. I got too many colors going. But stuffed nose, we're going to put it over here. And I'm going to put stuffed up. Stuffed up. All right, so if we make a sentence, our sentence would be, I am stuffed up. I am stuffed up. Stuffed up is an adjective. Now, if you wanted to use a noun, if we wanted to use a noun, then my word is going to change. Stuffy nose, stuffy nose. If I say stuffy nose, then I would say have. I have a stuffy nose. Okay, stuffed nose also you could say, like YFS and Supergirl, but stuffy nose. So be verb, we've got dizzy. We've got stuffed up. I'm dizzy. I'm stuffed up. Okay. Another one that we'll often use. Another word that we'll often use is sore. Sore. I like this word. It's very, very useful. Sore means you have pain. You have pain. So you could say, I am sore. I am sore. Sore is probably, you can use it for sickness, but a lot of times, sore, we are going to use this maybe after we go to the gym. If we go and exercise, we exercise very hard. Maybe after exercising our muscles, we can say, my arms are sore. My legs are sore. Now, we're going to get a chance for everybody to give me health advice. I just want to do one more really, really useful vocabulary word. So far, we're working with have and be. Those are the two verbs we're using. I'm going to introduce one more verb for you. One more verb. And then this verb, I'm going to put it right down here. Let's make this color. We're going to change this color as well. Let's change it into purple. Hurt. Hurt. Hurt is such a great verb. Whenever you're talking about health, you're talking about sickness, pain, we often use the verb hurt. So this is where I wanted to talk about joint, right? Hurt for me is such a useful word because we can use it in so many situations, right? Now, let's say my joints hurt. My joints hurt. What is a joint? What is a joint? Does anybody know what a joint is? All right, Fusa. Hello, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. I always get tested by Fusa. She always gives me messages in Japanese, and I got to test my reading. Thank you, Fusa. So a joint. So we're talking in the vocabulary joint. And XYZ already mentioned joint before. A joint is any location on your body, and YFS just answered, knees, elbows. It's any location of your body where two bones are going to meet, right? So we've got the elbow, right? We've got the bone here, and we've got a bone here. So this elbow is called a joint. Your knee is a joint. Your fingers, the place where they're meeting, that's a joint. Your ankle is a joint. Now, a lot of people, when they get sick, this area, maybe your knees, maybe your shoulders, you have pain in those, right? The word pain, we don't use it so commonly in English in sentences. We'll use hurt. My joints hurt. I love the word hurt because we can use it for anything. Earlier, I said, I have a headache. I have a headache. But I can just make a very simple sentence. My head hurts. My head hurts. I have a backache. My back hurts. All right, hurt is such a useful verb because we can use it for anything. My eyes hurt. My shoulder hurts. My hands hurt. So anytime you have pain, please use the verb hurt. Hurt. All right, so that's the third verb we're looking at now. Do not say injure, injured, or injury. Injured or injury is usually only used for athletes, for when people are playing sports, for dancers, they're athletes as well. In that situation, you could say injured. But for most people, hurt will be the most commonly used verb. So we've gone over a lot of vocabulary words here. There are many, many more. There are many, many more that we could say. I think hurt is really useful because all you have to do is put a body part and then hurts. Okay. Now, make sure you are very careful with your conjugation. Okay. What does conjugation mean? It means my subject and my verb are matching. So joints is plural. I've got an S. So it's hurt, no S. My head is one, hurts. We put an S. My back hurts. My shoulders, there's two of them. So hurt, there's no S there. So be careful with that. So we're going to be looking, you're very welcome, XYZ, you're very welcome. We're going to be looking at how do we give advice now. As I said earlier, there's the most common way to give advice is saying should. You should, you should, you should. We could also say you oughta, you oughta. Now, if we have some advanced speakers in here, I'm going to give you an advanced way. All right, let me put it onto the screen. There we go. Advanced way to give advice. If I were you, I would. If I were you, I would, then plus my verb. So in the next activity, it's going to be a verb challenge. Verb challenge. I want to know if you can choose the correct verb to complete the sentence. All right, so we've got, this is the grammar part, should and ought to. We'll get back to this. We'll get back to this, but I want to go over the first exercise. First exercise today. Please choose the correct verb to complete the sentence. I'll do number A with everyone. Number A says, should I something, some medicine? I want you to put a verb in this spot. What verb goes with medicine? What verb goes with medicine? Should I something, some medicine? So let's make this into a whole situation. Maybe I can give you the situation. I can say, my head really hurts. Should I, blah, 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 some medicine? What verb will you use in this sentence? And if you know the answer, just put it into the comment section. Whenever we are using the word medicine, we always use a specific vocabulary word, a specific verb, and Supergirl has answered it. YFS has also answered it. Take. Yes. So if you're putting a verb here, should I take some medicine? Always use the verb take when we are talking about medicine. We don't drink medicine. We don't eat medicine. We take medicine. Very good. Very good. All right. So everybody who's watching on the replay as well, if you're watching this after I've done the live, make sure you're answering all the questions. And anybody who's watching on the replay right now, if you're not a subscriber, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. It will help out my channel. I'm doing a lot of live lessons recently. I'm here to try to help everyone speak English a little bit better every day. All right, B. He should something a doctor. He should something a doctor. What is the word we will use here? He should something a doctor. There's several answers we can have. There's always several answers we can have here. So don't worry if you think your answer is different, or if it's different than what somebody has already put. Just put your answer. Try. There are many answers. All right, so we're talking about doctor. He should something a doctor. Supergirl, C. He should see a doctor. Excellent. XYZ also, you've got a different verb. Talk with. He should talk with a doctor. Excellent. YFS, C. Excellent. Are there any other nouns we can use? Or not, sorry, nouns, verbs. Are there any other verbs we can use? We've got see. We got talk with. Does anybody have any other nouns? What I would probably say, and I'll put my answer here. Everything moved on me. Go to. He should go to a doctor. Now here, you generally, when we say go to, this is another piece of advice for everybody who uses go to a lot. We're always going to say go to plus a location. Okay. A doctor is a person, but in this situation, go to a doctor. Doctor means doctor's office. It means doctor's office. It means a clinic. It means maybe a hospital. So we can just say go to a doctor. But yeah, if you ever use go to, usually after to, we need to have a location. We need to have a location. There are 3 exceptions. So there is a situation where I don't use to. And I'll put that later. Whenever we are going to be saying, oh, I jumped there. If I use here, there, home, here, there, home, please do not use to. Those 3 locations, we do not use the word to. Go here, go there, go home. Supergirl, nice. He should make an appointment with a doctor. Wow, very good. Very good. YFS only speaking. Go to a doctor. No, you can write that as well. That is completely fine. That is completely fine. All right, number C. Number C, you something eat too much sweet food. What would your doctor say? You're welcome, YFS. What would your doctor say? If maybe you're gaining a lot of weight, or maybe your dentist, your teeth are not doing so well, you have cavities. Maybe your dentist will say this to you on C. This is probably your dentist's advice for you. Your dentist's advice for you. You something eat too much sweet food. What will we say here? Anybody have an answer? If you have the answer, just put it in the comment section. Anybody who's watching on the replay, you can just shout it out or put it in the comment section as well. XYZ, you shouldn't. Perfect. YFS, should not. Perfect. And Supergirl, shouldn't. Excellent. You shouldn't eat too much sweet food. Excellent. Let's do a couple of more, and then we'll get into more advice situations. So we're going to do D and E. So D says you should something 2 liters of water per day. You should something 2 liters of water per day. What do you do with water? What's the verb that you use with water? All right, Supergirl, drink. Perfect. YFS, drink. Perfect. You should drink 2 liters of water per day. And then number E, you should something 8 hours every day. What should people do 8 hours every day? You should study English 8 hours every day. I think that would be too much. 8 hours every day of studying, I think that would be too much. But XYZ's answer, sleep. You should sleep 8 hours every day. Supergirl, you should sleep 8 hours every day. If you want to study English 8 hours every day, hey, I'm not going to stop you. In fact, I've got a lot of videos that will help you. So go to my channel, but I think 8 hours is too much. YFS, sleep. Perfect. Okay, let's go to our active part of the lesson. I'm going to give you a situation. And I want you to give me the advice sentence. So now remember, if you want to give advice, you can use should. We can use ought to or oughta, or more advanced, if I were you, I would. Right? Now, whenever we're using should, we're always going to be using a verb afterwards, okay? So make sure you have that verb. Should plus a verb. Ought to is going to be the same thing. You're going to need a verb after that. Okay, so ought to will be the same. Ought to plus a verb. If I were you, I would plus verb. 3 ways to make advice. Now, I don't want you to say, don't give me the simple answer, you should go to a doctor. Okay, that is too easy. All right, you should go to a doctor. That's too easy. I don't want to see this sentence. Of course, that's good advice, but let's challenge yourself today. Let's try using some different vocabulary words. All right, so we've got the first situation here. The boy has a fever. What should he do? Now, of course, he should go to a doctor. All of these, you should go to a doctor. But I want to hear some unique advice. Maybe you have a home remedy. Maybe you have a home remedy that your mom, your grandma used to do. A home remedy. It's kind of like a home medicine. The boy has a fever. What should he do? Make your sentence. He should. He oughta. If I were him, I would. What are your answers for this? Hello. Wong. I think it's Wong Pham. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm so sorry. Hello, how are you doing today? Va. I'm not sure what that means either, but I hope it means hello because I'm sending you a hello back. All right, home remedy. Give me some home remedies. This boy has a fever. What should he do? Right, remember, we're not going to say he should go to a doctor. That's, of course, that's the simple answer. What should he do? Also, you know what? I'm going to also put another thing here. Another word we can say, I'll put one up at the top. So you can say he, I'm just going to use should. But don't forget, we can also go negative. We can also say he shouldn't. That's also possible. All right, XYZ, he should take a medicine and sleep. Almost perfect, almost perfect. Supergirl, medicine is uncountable. Medicine is uncountable. So no ah. He should take medicine and sleep. Great. Perfect. I like it. Just get rid of the He should take medicine and sleep. That's a good answer, Supergirl. Does anybody else have any home remedies? He should take medicine and sleep was a great answer. I'll put that up here. Ooh. My computer is all weird today. Okay, so he should take medicine and sleep. That's one answer. If you have another answer, that's fine. You can leave it in the comment section anytime, and I'll get back to it, even if I move on. Let's move on, though. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 says, I have a backache. What should I do? I have a backache. What should I do? Now, I remember, I said you should go to a doctor. We don't want that sentence today. It's too easy. But if you can think of a different word for doctor, that's okay. You can do that. You can make that sentence. If you think of a different word than doctor, I will allow that sentence. So I have a backache. What should I do? All right. We've got the simple answers. We always got the simple. He should take some medicine. Or you should take some medicine. That's good. What else could we do? For example, what is this? What am I doing? All right, Supergirl. If I were you, I would get massages. Good. I would say a massage in this one. This one, Supergirl, a massage. If I were you, I would get a massage. I like it. If I were you, I would get a massage. Perfect. X with Z, you should stretch. Yes, you should stretch. Right. So remember, I always say this in all my lessons, whether it's online with YouTube here or it's at my school. Variety. English vocabulary variety. We always like to have variety. Now, doctor, that's one word we could say. Medicine, another very common word. Can I think of another word for medicine? All right, that's what I would say. You should take some painkillers. You should take some painkillers. Painkiller is another word for medicine. Supergirl, you said pills. Okay, pills is okay. I wouldn't use that word so much. Pills, you are correct. It's medicine. But recently, pills has kind of a negative feeling about it. Pills, sometimes we relate it to illegal drugs. So he's taking pills. It's kind of like a negative meaning. If you want to reduce the pain, we will say painkiller, which means medicine. Does anybody know this word? I'm going to put it on to I'm going to make a big one here. All right. Chiropractor. Yeah, Supergirl. Yeah. Pills. It kind of has that negative word of negative feeling behind it. So chiropractor. What is a chiropractor? A chiropractor is a special type of doctor that is going to try to fix all of the bones in your back or in your body. Sometimes our bones will move, they'll shift. So the chiropractor is trying to put them back in the correct placement. So he's aligning your bones. JL has an answer. I shouldn't move anything heavy and have a discussion with a doctor to see his advice. All right. Very, very good, JL. We're going to correct it a little bit. I'm going to keep it on the screen here. We're going to correct this just a little bit. Let's get rid of one of these. I liked your sentence. It was really, really good. Right. So I shouldn't move anything, just spelling wise here, heavy. That's okay. That's perfect. I shouldn't move anything heavy. You can also say I shouldn't pick up anything heavy. And then I like that. And have a discussion. I like that. You're using different vocabulary word with a doctor. With a doctor. That's good. That part is okay. I'll put it here. With a doctor. And get his or her advice. All right. So we're going to be getting the advice. Let's move this one over here. This one here. All right. So I shouldn't move anything heavy and have a discussion with the doctor and get his advice. All right. We're not going to see it. We're going to get it. We're going to receive it. Excellent answer, JL. Very good. I like that you use variety, right? We always want to try to use as many different vocabulary words as we can. That way our English speaking begins to improve. Wife has female birth control pills. We say pills. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the sentence will be a little bit different. The sentence will be a little bit different for that, YFS. If you're talking about birth control pills, and this is something that a lot of, women, young women are taking, women of all ages. Well, not all ages, but in that situation, I think the most common slang sentence would be if you're a female, you would say, I am on the pill. I am on the pill. It's not a pill. We're going to be the pill. Why do I say the pill? Because this pill is very, very specific. It is a birth control pill. So if you say the pill, everybody understands we are talking about birth control. And the sentence that most women will use is, I am on the pill. I am on the pill. Very good question, YFS. Very good. All right. So backache, you could go to a chiropractor. You could you shouldn't move anything heavy, like JL said. You shouldn't pick up anything heavy. You should sleep on a firm surface. You should sleep on a firm surface. All right, I'm going to put that as a banner. All right, you should sleep on a firm surface. You should sleep on a firm surface. This means when you're sleeping, sleep on something that's hard, that's firm, not soft. You're not going to sleep on a waterbed. That's not good for a backache. All right, let's go to number 3. Let's go to number 3. She has a stomach ache. She has a stomach ache. What should she do? All right, and let's go over some home remedies. Of course, you should go to a doctor. If it's very bad, go to a doctor. But remember, we just want to practice English. So let's try to use as many words as we can. Okay, this is a given. We understand that. But if she has a stomach ache, what is your advice for her? And remember, 3 ways to give advice. Should, ought to, or oughta. And then, if I were you, I would. 3 ways to give advice. What should she do? YFS, you are very welcome. You're very welcome. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about topics like that, but you need to. It's English. We're studying English here. So you need to be able to say things correctly. All right, so she has a stomach ache. What should she do? I don't know why. I don't know why my mom. This is my mom. My mom would always say she should drink warm milk. She should drink warm milk. I don't know if any of your mums would say that, but my mom would always say, Shelly, if you have a stomach ache, I'm going to make you some warm milk. Drink this warm milk. I have no idea why, but that was her home remedy. That she told me that would help my stomach ache. Did any of your mums ever do that? Did your mom, your grandma, did they ever say drink warm milk for a stomach ache? On a side note, I keep saying my mom. If you ever want to know if a person you're speaking with is American or Canadian, ask them to say the word mum. Canadians, we are going to say mum. We say it in a very British English style. The Brits, the Aussies, the New Zealanders, we all say mum, M-U-M. That's the pronunciation. Americans will say mom, M-O-M, how it's spelled. So they'll say mom. All right. So it's an easy way to know if somebody is Canadian. They'll say mum. Supergirl with an answer. You ought to lay on stomach and pressure it. Okay, good. You ought to lay on your stomach and pressure it. All right, I'm going to put this onto the screen here. There's a few things we need to change. All right. You ought to lay on your stomach and put pressure on it. Okay, here we're going to put pressure. YFS. You should make yourself warm. Perfect. In Japan, that's a lot of people will say that. You should make yourself warm. JL, you could apply some essential oil to your stomach. Wow. That is a great sentence. That's a great sentence. I didn't know essential oils worked for a stomachache. That's great knowledge. Thank you, JL. XYZ, I'm so glad you answered this. You should go to the bathroom. Now, I don't know why, but in Japan, if you tell a Japanese person, oh, I have a stomach ache, a very common answer will be, you should go to the bathroom. So I think in Japan, if you say you have a stomach ache, it's related to you need to go to the bathroom or you need to go poop. Okay. But I want everybody to know, if a Canadian or if an American, I can't speak for the other countries. I can only speak for Canadians and Americans because I've lived in both of those countries. If a Canadian or if an American says, I have a stomach ache, this is 1,000% not related to. We are not talking about, I need to go to the bathroom, I need to poop. It is not talking about that. I don't know why, but Canadians, Americans, we don't like talking about having to go to the bathroom, needing to go to the toilet, as they would say in the UK. We don't like to talk about it. It's something that's very private, and it's, I don't know, people, we don't like, it gives us very kind of uncomfortable feeling. If I have a stomach ache related to the bathroom, I need to go to the bathroom, Canadians and Americans will not say I have a stomach ache. We will not say it. We already know the reason. So we will just take care of our business privately. So if an American or a Canadian, if they say I have a stomach ache, this has something completely related to, stomach issue, some pain, not related to the bathroom. XYZ laughing over here. You always make me laugh, XYZ. XYZ says, we had to hold it until the class finished, so from childhood memory, it relates to that for us, I guess. Yeah, in Japan, I guess we like to share with private business. No, it's just culturally, it's different. In Japan, right? And I'm guessing XYZ, maybe you're from Japan or from an Asian country. In Asian culture, I think most Asian cultures, that is just a natural part of, your daily action. So people are quite free to talk about it, and there's no issue. That's just a cultural difference. In America and Canada, we do not like talking about it. It's something very private. We don't even say the word toilet. The Brits will say toilet. Americans, Canadians, we never say toilet. We say bathroom. Canadians, we say washroom. We don't say I have to go to the toilet. We're going to say I have to go to the bathroom. I have to go to the washroom. I don't know why our cultures, we don't, in Canada and America, we don't really like talking about our bodily functions, especially poop. Especially poop. We will say, it's really, we're going off on a tangent here, but it's quite funny. We will say, and this is funny too, number one and number two. Number one and number two. We are so uncomfortable talking about our bodily functions. A lot of times we will say, oh, I need to go number two. I need to go number two. Number two is poop. Number one is pee. We label them with numbers. Pee, maybe people will say it's not that uncommon, but number two, we always say number two. I have to go to the bathroom. It's, Americans, Canadians, we don't like talking about it. Okay, I digress. Let's get back to business. Let's do two more, and then we'll call it a day. So XYZ has, we say that too. Really? So you use numbers also, 1 and 2. Okay, maybe that is global. Maybe that's global. We all say 1 and 2. So just for everyone in the comment section, if you want to make that sentence, I have to go number 2. That was the sentence I said. I have to go number 2. All right. So if you want to use that in English, this is the sentence you make. I'm going to put a completely different scenario here. I want to put a completely different scenario because I want to get some more vocabulary. Let's make this number 9. My arm really hurts. My arm really hurts. Yeah. Yes. No. No. I thought you need to go. No, I don't need to go. My arm really hurts. What can we say for this? What advice do you have for me? Again, okay, I don't have to go number 2 for this. It's my arm. Let's use should, ought to, if I were you, and we are not going to say you should go to a doctor. That is, of course, it's common sense. It's logical, but it's too easy. That sentence is too easy. Give me a more difficult answer. All right. And everybody who's answering, you can leave your answers in the comment section, just like Supergirl has done right now. If I were you, I would go to a doctor to get x-rayed. Excellent. Excellent. All right. So you said doctor. That's okay. But you also added extra vocabulary words. X-rayed. All right. X-ray can be a verb. You x-ray your arm. All right. X-ray is also a noun. It's a verb and a noun. So you should. Oh, I did. Sorry. No. Your sentence was really good, Supergirl. I really liked it. If I were you, I would go to a doctor to get x-rayed. You should get an x-ray, and that it's a noun. YFS, you should make your arm cold. Really? Oh, that's right. Okay, I see what you're saying. I got you. What I would say here is not make your arm cold. This is going to be something, if maybe you're playing sports, maybe you're exercising and you hurt your arm. So you want to make the area cold. So there's this very specific sentence we're going to use. You should ice your arm. Here, ice is a verb in this situation. You should ice your arm. This means you're going to put some ice pack onto your arm. You should ice your arm. You should put the pad on your arm. In English, especially in Canada and America, we would say a heating pad, maybe. A heating pad. You should put a heating pad on your arm. You should put a heating pad on your arm. I think I know what you're saying, XYZ. In Japan, and if you are from Japan, and maybe in Asian countries as well, we have this actual type of like sticker, and you would remove the sticker from its packaging, and then you place it onto the body part that hurts. And basically, there's going to be some type of medicine in that sticker, and it's going to make your arm very, very cool. And it's going to be like very tingly, right? Yeah. So XYZ medicine pad called ship, right? So yeah, in Japan, it's this medicated kind of pad you put on to the sore area, and it makes it very cold and tingly. In America, we have one thing. It's called an icy. An icy. It's the same thing. It's this medicated pad, like sticker pad. But I think most times in America, what we'll do, or in Canada, what we do is we're gonna put ointment. Okay, instead of the pad, we use ointment. Ointment is cream, special type of cream. All right. Once freeze. Yeah. So you should ice your arm. You should ice your arm. Very, very good one. JL has an answer here. You should ask for 1 day leave to stay in home for resting. All right. Almost perfect here. Almost perfect, JL. I'm going to correct that a little bit for you. So what you're going to say is you should ask for a day off. A day off. A one-day leave is fine, but it's very, very formal. So we'd probably just say a day off, right? So you should ask for a day off. And stay home. And stay home. Okay, and if you want to say rest and stay home and rest, you should ask for a day off and stay home and rest. Yes. Now, a leave. What's the difference between a day off and a leave? If you're talking about a leave, and generally, and I'm going to put that, I'm going to make a banner of that. We often hear this word, this vocabulary word, a leave. Oh, that is incorrect. Let me just correct that. There we go. There, that's better. A leave of absence. A leave of absence. A leave of absence means that you are going to leave your work for a specific period of time. It's not just one day. Maybe it's going to be a week, maybe a month, maybe half year. For some reason, you need to leave work. Maybe there is a mental issue. Maybe there is a medical issue, a family issue. So you cannot go to work. So you're going to take a leave of absence. You're not quitting. You will return, but and it's not a holiday. This is not a holiday. It's not a vacation. There is some important reason why you cannot go to work. And we call that a leave of absence. So leave is generally used for a longer period of time. And if we're just talking about 1 day or 2 days, it's a day off. Okay. I just looked at the time. We're almost running into an hour and a half here. So I'm going to sort of end it right there. I think we've learned a lot of vocabulary words today. That was my goal today. The grammar is quite simple because we're just going to be using should. We're going to be using ought to. And we're using if I were you, I would. The main goal today was using a lot of vocabulary. A lot of vocabulary. And at YFS, you just put a great sentence. Maternity leave, childcare leave. Yes, these are long periods of time where you cannot go to work. Maternity leave, that means you just had a baby. You just had a child. Childcare leave as well. You've just had a baby. You need to take care of your child. Don't forget, there's one more. Maternity leave is only for women. But if we're talking about all parents, then it's going to be paternity leave. Paternity leave. I put it in the comment section, and it's on the screen now as well. Paternity leave. Yeah, so leave is going to be something a little bit longer. So the whole goal today is trying to use a lot of vocabulary that we don't necessarily use. You know, I kept saying throughout the lesson, please don't say this sentence. You should go to a doctor. This is not a bad sentence. This is a great sentence, but it's easy. Everybody knows this sentence. So it's important that you're challenging yourself to use other words. And we had some great sentences. You know, JL just, you should ask for a day off and stay home and rest. It's great. You should put a heating pad or a medicated pad on your arm. Great. You should get an x-ray. Great. So we're looking at a lot of different vocabulary words. That was my hope today. And everybody did a great, great job. And don't forget, sorry, I'm scrolling up really quickly. We've got all of these sickness vocabulary words where we're using either have, be verb, or hurt. So these are all really useful vocabulary words. And my preference is I love to use the word hurt. My joints hurt, my head hurts, my back hurts. This is very, very useful. Now, there are some questions we didn't do. If you look from number 4 to number 8, we didn't do that. Number 4 to number 8, we didn't do it. So this is a great opportunity for you to do this as homework. Number 4 to number 8. This would be a really good idea if you did this for homework. Look at all of these situations and leave your advice in the comment section. Put it into, during the replay, put it in the comment section. I will check all of your answers. And if you make any mistakes, I will correct them as well. Now, remember, try not to use, you should go to a doctor. Number 4, his tooth hurts. Of course, he should go to a dentist. That's too easy. Give me some more difficult advice. Okay, not difficult, but more challenging. Challenge yourself. Use vocabulary words that you don't usually use. All right, XYZ, thank you very much for today's lesson. I need to go. I hope you do the next weekend too. Yes, I will be doing it next weekend. Yeah, I didn't realize how long today's lesson was. So it was a little long, but I'm glad I got to see some new faces here today. So it was really good. I think the later start allows people to join. Thank you all the time. Thank you, XYZ, for coming, and please have a great day. All right, guys. So number 4 to number 8, do that for homework. Leave it in the comment section. Thank you all for joining. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comment section and I will answer them. Like XYZ says, I do a lot of lives. So my next live will be middle of the week. I'll do it during the weekday. And then, of course, Saturday, Sunday. During the holidays, I'll try to do more lessons as well. And also, don't forget to check out my other videos. There's lots of different grammar lessons, from beginner grammar to intermediate grammar to advanced grammar. So whatever you want to study, there should be a lesson on my channel. If there isn't, just tell me. Tell me what lesson you want me to make, and I will make it. All right, guys, let's end that here with some happy smiley faces from XYZ. All right, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you all in the next lesson. See ya.